Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're firing up our grammar GPS to help you navigate English prepositions perfectly. Honestly, if you've ever felt completely lost trying to figure out which tiny linking word to use in a sentence, well, you're absolutely in the right place. Let's get into it. So picture this. Have you ever gotten a graded exam back, looked at the red ink, and realized you lost precious marks just because you wrote that you were going to discuss about a project? Yeah, it hurts. These tiny little words, prepositions, are notorious because, frankly, they don't always seem to follow strict logical rules. But today we're learning the cheat codes. We are going to uncover the hidden patterns to fix these common 10th class mistakes once and for all. All right, here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll travel through time, then we'll pinpoint our place, track some movement, learn how to dodge those common grammar potholes, and finally, we are going to beat the boss level of phrasal verbs. Let's kick things off with Section 1, Navigating Time. When exactly are we? Okay, navigating time really just requires a bit of zooming in and out. Think of it like a camera lens. At the top, at is for a super specific zoomed-in pinpoint of time, like a literal dot on your watch at 5 p.m. Now zoom out a little bit to on. This is a bit wider. It covers a whole day or a date on your calendar, like on Monday. Zoom out one more time and you get in. This is the widest lens, used for massive chunks of time, like whole months or even years, in 1995. Now, English is wonderfully quirky, so remember this vital exception, okay? We say at night, but we say in the morning or in the afternoon. It's weird, but you just gotta memorize that one. Moving on, we have a really common mix-up, by versus until. This is all about an absolute deadline versus a stretching, continuous action. So if your teacher says, finish this assignment by Friday, boom, that is a hard brick wall. The action has to be completely finished before Friday strikes. But if you say, I will study here until 5 p.m., that means your studying is an ongoing, continuous action that fills up all that time right up to the 5 p.m. mark. Make sense? Another tricky pair here, for and since. The cheat code for this one is duration versus starting point. You use for when you're measuring the total amount of time something took. Imagine a stopwatch running for 10 years. But you use since when you want to point out exactly when that timer first started ticking, like I have been living here since 2010. Which brings us to Section 2, Mapping Place, pinpointing your exact location. Let's recalibrate that GPS from the clock over to the map. And guess what? It's the exact same camera lens trick we just used for time. At is your single dot on the map. You are at the door. Zoom out to on, and now you're physically touching a flat surface, like your book is on the table. Zoom all the way out to in, and that means you are fully enclosed inside a 3D box or a geographic border, like you are in the room or in India. Exact same logic, just applied to space. Now, let's talk about how we handle groups, because this is where you can really flex your vocabulary. Use between for a simple pair, just between you and me. Use among for a distinct crowd, standing among your friends. But here is an absolute killer word for your essays. Use amid. You use this when you're stuck in something you can't easily count or separate, like being amid total chaos or standing amid a raging storm. It just sounds so much more advanced. All right, Section 3, tracking a movement and levels. Where are we going? Our GPS is locked, so let's hit the gas. When we talk about movement, to and towards are very different vibes. To means your journey is complete at that destination. I am going to the market means the market is your final, ultimate stop. But towards, that just means you're heading in that general direction. You might be walking towards the market, but actually, scratch that. You're stopping at your friend's house along the way. Direction versus destination. Oh, these are fantastic action words. Remember our in and on rules from earlier? Well, if you just add the word to, you instantly create motion. Into takes you from the outside straight inside that 3D box. The dog ran into the house. And onto places you right on top of that flat surface, like a cat leaping onto the roof. It's just location plus movement. When you're tracking paths, think of across as actively cutting straight over an obstacle from one side to the other, like literally walking across a busy street. But along is much more relaxed. It's just cruising parallel right beside something, like taking a night stroll along the length of a river. Okay, comparing these two sets of words unlocks a massive cheat code because people mix these up all the time. Use over and under when things are directly stacked or physically touching, like pulling a blanket over a baby or a cat hiding directly under a bed. but use above and below when you're comparing abstract levels, like reading a thermometer where the temperature is below 0, or a mountain that sits above sea level. They aren't physically touching, it's just a benchmark. Moving right along to Section 4, potholes to avoid. These are your common 10th class grammar traps. We've mastered the map, so now we really need to steer clear of the potholes that trip up almost every single 10th grade student. Listen up, because adding prepositions to these specific verbs is literally the fastest way to lose marks. These verbs are strong enough on their own. You don't discuss about a project, you just discuss it, period. You don't investigate into a case, you just investigate it. And you simply enter a room, you don't enter into it. Memorize this list, drop the extra words, and your writing will instantly level up. Now, transportation rules usually seem super confusing, but there's a brilliant hack for this. Ask yourself one question. Can I stand up and walk around in this vehicle? If you have to crouch down and sit immediately, you're in it. In a car, in a taxi. But if it's big enough that you can stroll down an aisle, you're on it. On a bus, on a train, on a plane. How cool is that? The word home is a bit of a tricky shapeshifter in English. Usually, you drive straight there without any preposition at all. I am going home. In that case, it's acting as an adverb. But the very second you add a possessive word in front of it, like his, her, or my friends, home suddenly turns into a noun, and you absolutely must add to. I am going to his home. Okay, despite and in spite of. They mean the exact same thing, but you gotta remember this golden rule. The word despite is an independent soloist. It never, ever hangs out with the word of. It's simply despite being rich. If you really want to use the alternative, you have to commit and use all three words, in spite of. Do not mix them up. Here's a really quick logic check to keep you from sounding redundant. The word return already has the meaning of coming back built right into it. So saying return back is literally like saying I'm going to come back. Yeah, sounds silly, right? Just drop the second one and simply say he will return. And here we are, Section 5, the boss level. Prepositional versus phrasal verbs. You've survived the potholes, and now verbs are completely changing their disguises. First up, prepositional verbs. Honestly, with these, what you see is what you get. The verb keeps its original meaning. When you listen to music, the listening part is still just regular listening. And crucially, these two words are glued together forever. You can't wedge a noun in between them. They are a package deal. But phrasal verbs? Oh, these are total magic tricks. When you pair the verb and the preposition here, the meaning completely flips into something new. Passing away isn't about physically handing an object over. It means to die. Turning down isn't about spinning to look at the floor. It means to reject something. And the coolest part is, you can often split them apart, like saying, I'm going to turn his request down. Well, look at that. You've bypassed the potholes, conquered those tricky phrasal verbs, and unlocked the hidden patterns of English prepositions. You now hold the ultimate grammar GPS in your hands. So, I'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you are fully equipped and confident with these tools, how are you going to use them to write your next great story? Thanks for joining this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.